Our New York snow is white. At game time we see red. Our collar is still blue. We've been here all these years, through the touchdowns and the cheers with you. Yes, you could say we'll always stay red, white, and blue.
Welcome to the Blue Collar Network, home of all things Buffalo Bills football. Madden 17 has arrived, and it is time to hop into the franchise. Buffalo Bills is our team this year. If you did not see the franchise reveal video from about a month ago, there will be an annotation to that on the screen. So like I said, Buffalo Bills is our team this year, and they are an interesting team. They are a team that has not made the playoffs since 1999, and we are looking to get them back to the playoffs as Rex Ryan is at the helm for the second year as the Buffalo Bills coach, went 8-8 in his first season last year, and looking to improve upon that, as this is a talented team, this is a young team, this is a team that has the pieces to make a playoff run, to get to the playoffs for the first time since '99, and Rex Ryan is definitely a coach that knows how to get to the playoffs. So it should be an interesting dynamic with him at the helm, and then also the defensive coordinator being his brother Rob Ryan, and the offensive coordinator being the former Niners offensive coordinator in Greg Roman. Moving on to a couple signings we made, Riley Cooper is a receiver who is going to be signed to compete for the third and fourth wide receiver position, as it's a very weak area this team has. It has Sammy Watkins, who's good, it has Robert Woods, who's good, and then it just kind of drops down to a bunch of 60 overall players who are all going to be competing for that third and fourth spot, but they're going to add some more competition in there with Riley Cooper, as he still has the tools to get it done. He still has 80 plus catch in traffic, spec, catch, and release, and then he has 76 route running, and he's got good enough speed to get the job done. So Riley Cooper is still a decent option. We signed him to a one-year deal for like $2-something million. So Riley Cooper is going to be on the team to compete for that third or fourth wide receiver job, as well as a bunch of young guys who are on the roster as well. And then we also signed Ryan Wendell, a right guard, to be our starting right guard, because the Buffalo Bills have a very weak position at that. They have a very weak player at that position. He's only about a 70 overall, so we went out and signed Ryan Wendell, who doesn't have the best pass block or run block. I think they're both like either low 80s or high 70s, but he has great impact block, and I feel like he's definitely a better option than the current one we have, and he was the best option available in free agency, in my opinion. So this past offseason, the Buffalo Bills lost a couple guys. They didn't really sign too many people. Mainly their signings were just re-signing guys. Their losses, they lost their slot guy in Chris Hogan, and that's why their slot position is so weak. Chris Hogan went to the New England Patriots, so we're going to be seeing him 2 times a year. Shout out to Monmouth University in West Long Branch, New Jersey, because that's where Chris Hogan came from. Nigel Bradham has also left. He is going to be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles this season. So Nigel Bradham left us as well. Percy Harvin retired, so that's another receiver that we lost. And then Mario Williams, a defensive end, was cut. But he was kind of getting up there in years, and he wasn't exactly the same player he was in his prime, so Mario Williams isn't really too big of a loss, considering we have a decent amount of depth at the defensive end position and outside linebacker position to fill that in. Especially with who the Bills drafted in the first and second round, which we'll get into a little bit later. Like I said, the Bills didn't have too many signings. 2 of them were just re-signing the left side of their offensive line. Cordy Glenn, their left tackle, to a extension, and then Richie Incognito, their left guard, to an extension to solidify that left side of the offensive line with Eric Wood in their center. The right side is a bit questionable. Those are guys who are just kind of making their own name for themselves, but the left side is definitely solidified. Robert Blanton was brought over as a strong safety on a 1-year contract. I believe he was with Cleveland last year. Don't quote me on that, but I believe he was with Cleveland. He's actually the same overall as our top strong safety, Aaron Williams. So they're going to be competing for that starting job, while Reggie Bush is signed to a 1-year contract. He is actually the second best running back on the roster, because as we get into the cuts part of this, the Bills have recently cut Carlos Williams, their rookie last year. The second-year running back showed up to camp overweight, and I guess they just had enough, and they were taking some no-nonsense actions, or they were taking some no-nonsense tactics as they just cut him. So Carlos Williams is no longer a Buffalo Bill, and Reggie Bush is now our number 2 running back. And like I said, we would get into the draft, and that would be why we aren't going to miss Mario Williams or any of that pass rushing type ability because of who we drafted in the first and second round. First round, we took Shaq, or not we, but the Buffalo Bills took Shaq Lawson out of Clemson, a defensive end of the first round. In the second round, they took outside linebacker out of Alabama, Reggie Ragland. And then in the third round, they took Adolphus Washington, defensive tackle out of The Ohio State University. And then they also took, in the fourth round, a quarterback out of The Ohio State University. You all know him, Cardale Jones, who is going to be an interesting project, if you can even call him that, because he has quite low attributes, horrible accuracy, and slow development. So it'll be interesting to see if he's even halfway decent in the preseason. Jonathan Williams was our fifth-round pick. He is a halfback out of the University of Arkansas. And then they also had two picks in the sixth round, the first one being wide receiver out of TCU, Colby Listenby, the former Horned Frog. And then we also took Kevon Seymour, a cornerback out of the University of Southern California. And like I said, they were both sixth-round picks. The Bills did not have a seventh-round pick this season. So things to look out for in the preseason is, number one thing is definitely the battle for the second QB job. Number one QB is locked up with Tyrod Taylor. He is definitely solidifying himself as our starting quarterback. But the number two position is a toss-up right now. It could either be E.J. Manuel or it could be Cardale Jones, our rookie. It really just depends on who plays better in the preseason. And whoever plays better in preseason, whoever has a better feel for the offense, is going to win that number two QB position. Another battle to look out for is the battle for the 3 and 4 receivers. Like I mentioned when we signed Riley Cooper, that is a very weak spot in this Buffalo Bills offense is the slot guy and the fourth receiver, and then even the fifth receiver for empty backfield in the shotgun. That is a very weak position. When I picked up this team, it was basically just a bunch of 60 overall guys. Marquise Goodwin was the best overall slot guy they had, and he's not exactly a receiver, he's more of a kick returner than a receiver. So I went out and signed Riley Cooper, like I said, and he's going to be a couple other guys competing for the third and fourth position. The third and fourth receivers on the depth chart, and there's a lot of guys competing for it, so it's just going to come down to who plays better in the preseason and who the coaches think is going to be the best fit in that third and fourth spot. And then there's also the battle for the number 2 running back. It's probably going to be Reggie Bush, but Jonathan Williams and Mike Gillislee both have a fighting chance of getting that second running back position. Williams is the rookie out of Arkansas, and then Gillislee, I believe is how you say it, is a former Dolphin guy who never really got too much time in the NFL, but he's a 25-year-old running back out of the University of Florida, I believe. So those are 3 key things to keep your eye on for the preseason, and that will be the next video that goes up. That'll be episode 2 of the Bills franchise, and that'll be up tomorrow. It'll be a preseason recap. It'll be all 4 preseason games in one video, cut down into rapid-fire highlights, probably like a 5-minute type thing. And that'll wrap things up here for episode 1 of the Bills franchise. You've been listening to the Blue Collar Network. I've been your host, Jersey Born, and I'm saying goodbye.